Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we've got my two sons, Alex and Logan, and also joining us live from Isotopes Park, we've got the one, the only Jacob Terrell. Jacob, Devin Sandoval night ends with a 1-0 loss for New Mexico United. Let's go ahead and have it. What was your instant reaction to that one?
Well, kind of like San Antonio, I feel way differently about the two halves.
Mm-hmm.
The first half, I felt like we controlled it. I felt like they had a couple chances, but our defense was up to the task. We were inches away from at least one goal, if not multiple goals, specifically on the corner that Ryden headed just where he didn't even really head it, just kind of grazed off of him, but he was right there. Small deflection in the goal, and we're talking about a different story. But and then the second half, I watched it from up on top, and it just seemed like we didn't care. Even after going down a goal, I mean, there was a little bit of intensity there, but it just was super frustrating. Borelli can kiss my ass. I fucking hate that guy. And the ref can kind of kiss my ass at this point, too, because the fact that Borelli stayed in this game is baffling to me.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. 3 shots for United in the first half, 2 in the second half. He talked about being inches away, but 5 shots. That's not nearly enough,
right?
To give United a chance against a team who is as hot as El Paso is right now. And you talk about a tale of two halves. Like, we were very, very streaky in the second half. We had spurts where we seemed to have some energy. Then we had spurts where we didn't have any energy.
Right.
And yeah, it was just there was just no sense. For a lot of the second half, I felt like there was no sense of urgency whatsoever.
No, there wasn't. And like I said, even going down a goal, we saw like a few more spurts, but then I don't know what happened. They weren't hungry like they were the last 2 home games.
Yeah, it certainly didn't feel that way. Asking my boys here real quick. Boys, y'all both watched the game tonight, or at least a large portion of it. What did you think New Mexico United did well tonight?
I think we did good on passing the ball. We could have done a little bit better, but overall we played hard.
They did really well trying to get the ball in the goal, but
yeah,
they could have really done better, and I think that's why we got the loss.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard them entirely, Jacob, but Alex felt like at times we did really well with ball movement, passing the ball around, and Logan said we didn't do quite enough to try to put pressure on Diaz at the back, which is why we lost. So
fair assessment.
Yeah, I mean, these are assessments coming from 8 and 10-year-olds. So, but no, yeah, it's just I think they're both right to an extent. I mean, you saw it in the first half. We moved the ball fairly well. We were looking to get into some space. Particularly, you could see some runs early on from Bees, from Wagner trying to get in behind, and they were just offside. I think we had 3 or 4 offside calls just in the first half alone. So I mean, there are opportunities there, and then Amando's shot that went off the post. Yeah, and again, the flag was up there. Now, yes, they were very tight calls, but it really felt like the first half we were better creatively. We were better at trying to force the ball into spaces where El Paso wasn't. Despite going to the long ball in the second half, it just didn't seem to work as well as it did early on.
No, and in the first half, I mean, the inches away part was, we were inches away from being onside. We were inches away from the ball deflecting in the back of the net on that Ryden shot. We were inches away from getting a through ball to get behind the defenders. There were at least 3 that I thought were they took a small deflection or large deflection in some cases. And if El Paso doesn't get there was
special guest David Carl.
if Paso doesn't get a touch on that, then we're through on goal multiple times. But just it was a night that if you had to not be inches off, you had to be right on in every aspect for a whole 90 minutes. And we shut off for probably 30, 45 seconds there on the El Paso goal, and got punished for it, and could never punish El Paso for some of their mistakes, because they turned the ball over in some pretty dangerous spots for us several times in that second half, including, and we just couldn't capitalize on it. Whether that was, a couple of times I felt like we could have done a little bit better and going forward, and instead we, maybe got the turnover, took a couple dribbles forward, then turned around and passed it back. And so it was an up and down night, just kind of all over the place as far as offensively. Defensively, I thought we did really well, especially you consider Colonna's in there. El Paso had more of the possession, but I didn't feel like it amounted to a whole lot. I felt like we held their offense in check. They took a few long shots that were kind of prayers, Hail Marys, if you will. And then other than the one goal, I thought we were really, really solid. But that's kind of been the story all year was, other than the goal, other than the own goal, other than this deflection here, that deflection there, we were pretty much spot on. And so those just, eventually we got to knock that shit off. And we've got to not make those one mistake here or one mistake there. And we just didn't do that again tonight.
You mentioned Kyle Colonna again filling in for the injured Will Seymour. United was running rather shorthanded on defenders this evening. I thought Colonna did a fairly good job defensively. He did have one moment early, unless it was in the first half, where he did give the ball away in the defensive third, and I was worried that was going to lead to something. But fortunately, guys got back. We didn't concede anything there. But yeah, defensively, it really wasn't a terrible outing. Yes, we gave up a few opportunities. You look at guys like Eder Borelli. You go look at guys like Costation, who had a really great night tonight for El Paso. And yeah, there really wasn't much difference in what we could do in either half. And that cross that was sent in where Costation scored, inch perfect cross, and realistically, Kalen's a half step behind. He's that close to making a play on that ball, and there really wasn't much else that our guys could have done about that.
The only thing on that I'll where I thought we could have done better was Yearwood in one-on-one defending out there with was it Gomez that sent the cross in?
Let me look and see.
Whoever sent the cross in, I felt like Yearwood could have been
Borelli.
Was it Borelli? Could have been a little bit more up on him. I think he had a cutback move that beat Yearwood. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't Yearwood.
No, because Yearwood was in the box. He was behind Costation.
Yeah. So it must have been Harry.
Probably.
So Harry kind of gets beat there. Harry's not the best one-on-one defender. And so him getting beat there and giving Borelli the space to send the cross in was where I thought we could have done better. But at the end of the day, it took a perfect pass. Calvillo with some balls on him to go flying in there to get his head on it. And I can't fault that goal. The goal was great for El Paso. It's just the intensity and the urgency. And then just like I love Sam. We've talked about Sam a lot. Sam is killing us this year. Mm-hmm. I don't think he was too bad this game, but there was one play that kind of summed up, or two little things that kind of summed up the game to me. Down by one in stoppage time, a throw in comes to Sam's feet, we need Sam to get on it and send it forward, and he whiffs on it. And it has to roll all the way back to Tambakis.
Was that Sam? I thought that was Kalen back there at that point.
No, that was Sam on that one.
Okay.
It's a small thing, and at the end of the day, it's 5 seconds worth of time. But to lose concentration in stoppage time when you're down by a goal and the ball's coming to your feet just baffles me. I just don't understand it. Yeah. And then I don't know if the camera caught it, but there was a beautiful moment where I think it was when they had El Paso had a free kick just inside their half in stoppage time. The ref finally shows a yellow card for time wasting, but right before he shows it, the dude kicks it.
Right.
Well, it goes to the ball boy. Well, the two ball kids are sitting there with a ball, but nobody throws it, and then they both throw it at the same time, and then both of our players kick it off the field at the same time, thinking that they play the other one. And it's like, oh god, that's just the epitome of how tonight has gone in the second half. Just nobody on the same page, nothing smooth going. So it was rough, man. It was rough.
Yeah, it definitely is. You talked about the referee, and Alex, this is something that you noticed that you and I were talking about while the game was going on. Alex kept asking, about, why isn't that a foul, or why isn't that a yellow card and things like that. And, Alex,
it was a yellow card. That's
yeah, it was a yellow card. It should have been a yellow card. It's one of those things where whether the referee pulls out the card there or not, I certainly don't think Santi legitimately earned a penalty when he went down earlier in the box. But they were all over Santi all night long. And then for the referee to give El Paso as long of a leash as he did, and then for Brucey for one foul, 30 seconds after he comes on, Brucey picks up a yellow card. I think there's a little bit of a discrepancy in the leash that he was given to either side tonight.
100%. 100%. And Borelli, for what it's worth, in that there was a free kick by us. We had Kelowna and Borelli were matched up with each other. Mm. And for whatever reason, Borelli just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then, of course, Kelowna turns around, shoves him back a little bit, and Borelli goes flying.
Yeah.
And I think that led to Sam and Kyle and Borelli all getting a talking to. And that play was just a play that epitomized Borelli and El Paso and the ref and everything. And it sucked, man.
Yeah, the referee certainly didn't, he wasn't the cause of the outcome of the match, but it certainly didn't help when it just seems to be called vastly different. Overall, a disappointing night for United, for the United supporters. 11,247, biggest crowd of the year for New Mexico United. Next week, the club heads off to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, obviously, historically one of the better clubs in the league. And just real quick, obviously, we'll talk about this more Tuesday night on the podcast, but I'm going to get the boys' opinions on this and then yours quickly. Boys, New Mexico United has to travel all the way across the country next week. Do you think that they've now lost 2 games in a row? Do you think that they go into El Paso or go into Tampa Bay and they play better than they did tonight, or do you think that they struggle again against a good team?
I think they'll play better the next time that they're gonna play, because now it's just like motivation. You just learn to get better.
Yeah, I agree with Alex with that.
You agree? All right. Jacob, what are your very early thoughts on Tampa Bay next week? Who I think they'd pick up a draw tonight.
The very early thoughts and my current mood is the season is over. I'm not coming to any more games. I'm just. I think we. Now, it's on a serious note. I don't know. I don't know what this team is capable of anymore. I feel like we have played several really good matches, but I don't know. I think we just might be cursed.
You never know. We just might be. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for us this evening. Jacob, obviously, coming to us live from Isotopes Park. I'm here at home with my two boys. So Aaron, appreciate you over in the chat. Yeah, so I think that's going to do that for us. Jacob, any closing thoughts before you head down to the presser?
No, man. I think we're good. I'm actually not going to go to the presser. I'm starving. I did not get here nearly as early as I needed to because I-40 was shut down just outside of Santa Rosa. So I had to turn around, go down to Vaughn, and then come back up to Klein's Corners.
Oh, wow.
So I got here about 7 minutes after kickoff. So I'm starving. We lost, so I'm not in a good mood. I'm starving, so I'm not in a good mood. So I'm going to go get Chick-fil-A because that'll cheer me up.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. I might pop in there and see if they've got players there right now, but I really want Chick-fil-A. So it's Chick-fil-A or presser, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to decide yet.
Okay.
But I appreciate you coming on. Boys, I appreciate you guys helping your dad out. I know they can't hear me, but
Jacob says, thank you guys for hopping on and helping us out tonight.
Oh yeah, you're welcome anytime. I'd love to do this again.
of course.
My second time doing this. So.
All right. Well, I think that's it. You got anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll put it out. We put this out as a podcast too, don't we?
Yeah.
All right. You do all that stuff. I appreciate that. We will be back Tuesday to kind of break this down a little more in depth. Earl did tell me he was going to be there Tuesday, so we'll see.
Okay.
And we'll talk about Tampa Bay and. Sorry.
No.
So until Tuesday.